You can announce when you are starting.
Yes,
Okay.
we are now on the recording mode. We are recording this one Zoom Master and the YouTube at the same time. Have a good day. Have a good session for all. Thank
You
so
can
much.
announce when you are starting.
Yes, you can start now. We are now on the recording mode. We are recording this one Zoom Master and the YouTube at the same time. Have a good day. Have a good session for all. Thank you. Ma'am Saadet and Iza, please,
Thank you,
you
Dr. Ali.
can start. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Dear representatives of ICOM national committees of the different countries, keynote speakers, participants. Welcome to the third session of the International Virtual Conference on Museums. Today, we are virtual guests of two beautiful countries, Nepal and Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for hosting us. Before giving the floor, Madam Izak Khan from ICOM Pakistan, I have few words to share with you. In April 2019, Nepal earthquake, also known as the Gurkha earthquake, killed nearly 9,000 people and injured nearly 22,000 people. Furthermore, centuries-old buildings were destroyed at UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the Kathmandu Valley. On December 24, Sri Lanka also became the victim of the Indian Ocean tsunami. It caused huge destruction around the coastal beds of countries close to Indonesia, where the earthquake which took place. In conclusion, our association communication will take place by the end of until July 2021 under the title of Disaster Museums, Open Our Museums, etc. I'm very glad if your speakers from Nepal and Sri Lanka present the papers to our session. I would like to learn how to deal with the consequences of these disasters and how ICOM, UNESCO, and especially ICOM's first aid program helped you during and after these disasters. Thank you very much for your kind participation. Thank you very much for your kind permission to say something to the participants, Dr. Isaac. Thank you. It's your floor.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome you all here. Thank you so much for your participation and collaboration. I would like Dr. Rukhsana David to say a few words because on the welcome day, on the inaugural day, she couldn't join us due to some technical reasons. So I would give her a couple of minutes to say a few words to welcome you all. Dr. Rukhsana David, please.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here, and thank you, everyone, for being here. I think this was an idea from Javed Akhtar, and I think the team from Pakistan and the team from Turkey has really worked so hard to put this together and bring so many people together and bring so many people from different countries. And I think this is the time to learn from each country. There have been countries who have faced disasters. There have been countries that have, have suffered economically. So I think it's time for all the world to get together and see the future of the museums. And once again, I wish you a very good session. And thank you, Kumet Turkey. Thank you, the team from Turkey. And of course, Iza and the Pakistan team. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rukhsana. Now we hand it over to you, Suresh. The floor is yours. Good luck for your session.
Thank you very much. Ijar Khan, and your great effort for this conference. First of all, greetings from Nepal. Good morning, good afternoon, and namaste from Nepal. We are happy and we are so proud to join this memorable and useful and fruitful conference. Actually, Nepal is a landlocked country, which is recently we are developing museum around nearly 100 years. But our museum is not developed like internationally, like a museum definition, but we are trying. We are trying to our ICOM members, as well as Nepal government, Department of Archaeology, and so many private organizations to develop the museums and to improve the museum and museum education, as well as museum community. For this session, I'm very happy to first of all to thanks Mohammad Jafri Akhtar sir, Ija Khan, Professor Ali, and all 32 countries as partners. Your excellent work and effort we are using new technology for not the new technology, it's all the technology we reached over all the Nepalese who loves the museum and museum professionals. So I think we are very long and fruitful for this conference, and this is a 3 days conference, and luckily I have host and moderator of the first session in Nepal. So in this session, we choose the topic also status of museums in Nepal, because we have so many museums, so many private and small community museums also. As well as let's say from Turkey, Siddharthi mentioned our great earthquake in 2015. It's so many museums and heritage sites lost. At the time, remember, I'm one of the member or one of the participants in the training of ICOM first aid training, and with this I learned so many things about how to evacuation and how to save the heritage. As well as right now also I'm participating in the ICOM training to disaster management plan. We are also planning, I'm also planning to how to save the heritage site and disaster planning. Actually in the 2015, not only of the museums, most of the heritage and public houses, as well as infrastructure also gone and disaster. And I think, and this is all of the Nepalese people, this is the chance of the revive of our art and craft and art culture, as well as architecture of our traditional one architecture. So again, thanks to all participants and welcome. I want to start my our presentation. Our presentation is keynote speaker is Professor Dr. Ranbhadur Kaur. He is so honorable person for Nepal and for us. He's my teacher also. Actually, he's right now he's the vice chairman of the ICOM National Committee and former head of department Nepalese History, Culture and Archaeology, Tribhuvan University. He taught me also, and he taught all of the students in Nepal on archaeology, museums, and culture. And he's also chairman of the Nepal National Ethnography Museum in Kathmandu, Nepal. And another person, speaker is we have Professor Dr. Dharma Dangal, who is the executive member of the ICOM Nepal, professor of the Tribhuvan University, as well as former chief of the National History and Institute of Science and Technology from Tribhuvan University, as well as he's so many leader under organizations also. And another our speaker is Ms. Sosti Raj Bandari Kasta. He is a scholar as well as a lecturer of the MA Mythology and Buddhist Collection, Dominic Buddhist University, as a curator of so many exhibition in Nepal and abroad also. And another we have presentation is Ramesh Dawari. He's an advocate and he's the secretary of ICOM Nepal National Committee, and he's the chair also Living Traditional Museum in Changmu, which is so many museum is in Nepal. So I'd like to request for keynote speaker, Professor Ranbhadur Kaur. I already say he's the vice chairman of ICOM Nepal also. And he led so many organizations related to museum and culture institution. And he wrote so many articles and he's a book of authors. And he's one of the honorable person for museum sector in Nepal. So Professor Ranbhadur Kaur, the floor is here.
Dr. Ali, could you mute all the microphone, please?
Professor Tanvar Kumar, sir, is the floor is here for keynote speaker.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and all the participants from different countries. But actually, I don't know to all of you. So, just I want to say good afternoon, namaste to everybody. In fact, now I belong to a National Ethnographic Museum, as a chairman of that museum. That is in private sector. Very nice to see you all in this time. Really, this is my first time in this program, participating in with the friends. So first of all, I would like to give you all my gratitude to all the participants for the participation in this program. Actually,
Sorry, Dr. Kumar. Please open your camera. Your camera is closed now.
So,
we love to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So actually, today I want to say something about the museum and museology, about development and field of art and architecture, history, culture, and everything that is that can be said over here. But in fact, history of museum is very short in Nepal. Firstly, it was started in 1928, which was not known as a museum. That was Arsenal Museum, Chhauni Arsenal Museum. Arsenal Museum means Chhauni is the parade place for the armies, and Arsenal means the armed, which is the store, a type of store of armed arms. So it was the first museum in Nepal, which was established in Rana period. But the name of National Museum, now it has been named as National Museum in Nepal, which is nearly in 1968, it was named by Nepal National Ethnographic, Nepal National Museum. So first of all, we don't have so much historical museums in Nepal. Then before 1928, and which was opened in 1939 in Nepal for the public. So in this connection, then after when democracy came in 1951, then after different places and different groups and different school and colleges also started to collect the things, and they started to make their museum. In this connection, we have to say that few museums are very popular in Nepal. Is mostly that is the which is handling by the government, that is National Museum of Chhauni, which is still now biggest one, or where we can see many things over there. Especially it was established for the collection of the royal families, things, arms, like that. And then after, there are so many museums in Kathmandu Valley also. There are Patan Museum, Bhaktapur Museum. Patan Museum is an art museum. Bhaktapur also is art wooden museum. Then after there is another museum is called sorry, just I forgot the name. Then the other museums were like that. I'll tell you later on. In this connection, there are nearly 12 government museums in Nepal, including the regional museum also. Then after, there are nearly 10 private museums in Nepal. There are, that is in community based, there are more than 100 museums in Nepal. Then after, there are science museum and natural museum, and others museum also are known as a very important museums in Nepal. So there are general museums, art museum, ethnic museum, natural science museum, science museum, numismatic museum, arsenal museum, which is arsenal museum also is over here. Next one, musical instruments museum, mountaineering museum, and butterflies museum and birds museum are over in Nepal. So many museums are over here, but they don't have any so long history. Long history in Nepal. They are very late established museums. Although they have different type, different category or type. They have an art, wooden, and historical, and a type of ethnic museums, which are not so much old, but they are very new. But later, in this, about this museum education, first of all, Tribhuvan University first time started as a general introduction, just one paper for master's degree. That was museum. Then after, later in 2016, museum was started in Lumbini University, which is still now they are getting the degree from that university as a museologist. So in this connection, about this museum education is not so long, since a long time, it is very short, but museology education is very important in Nepal for the sake of education and for the knowledge and for about the history and archaeology of Nepal. Museology is very important. So nowadays, all they are going to establish such type of museums. In this connection, first of all, I would like to say about Nepal. Little bit I want to say about a brief history, like a history or archaeology about Nepal. That is, so first of one thing is that no museum in fact are now in a problem or pandemic of COVID-19. Although we are not opening the museums, all they are closed now. On this occasion, we are organizing a conference. It is very good for us. Also, we can also share something. All of us, we can share the situation of the museum and development also. In fact, about Nepal, you have to, I think many of you don't know about the Nepal. Nepal is a mountainous country. It is in between China and India, a very small country which has a long history since nearly 3,000 years. It is independent and independent country and a landlocked country also. So since a long time, it is independent, and here are so many people, different type of people, especially Nepal has 125 caste and ethnic groups, 125 caste and ethnic groups, and 122 languages are over here. So still now, this is the data of 2011 AD. So in Nepal, especially most of friends don't know about this. I think so. Those who come in Nepal, who study, know about this. So in this year is geographically also it is a wonderful country because it has we can divide in three categories. First of all, in northern side, that is Himalayan or in mountainous side. Then downward, that is Illyrian. Then after the flat land, that is Tarai land. So the people of Nepal who live in different places are different type of people. Their culture, food, and dress, ornament also is different. So there is not like the same in one place to another place. So because the climate is different, in northern it is very cold, in hilly region that is normal, in southern part that is very hot, like in India. So in Nepal, different type of people live over here. They are from the different races, like especially here are those people in Nepal, the people of Mongolite race and Caucasian race people are more over here. Then after other ethnic groups also are over here. But they are still now, they are some of them are very much in a old stage, as a hunting stage also. You can find a Raute, Kusunda, like that ethnic groups can see still now they are in a hunting stage. Roaming, they don't stay in one place, they move one place to another as a hunting stage. So in Nepal, there is in fact, Kathmandu is a very important and historical place. It is like an open air museum. Wherever you can go, you can see art and architecture, temple, and everything, palaces, everything you can see over here. It is a very small place, nearly 14 miles around this area. But it has great culture and art, which was flourished in since, and we can see from the nearly 2000 years. Since 2000 years, we can see the art and architecture of ancient period. That was in the Lichvi period, then after Malla period and Shah period. Then before, we can find the history, Kirata, Gopal, Maheshwal also, but we don't have that much sufficient documents. Anyway, in this connection, Kathmandu is a very important place, and historically, it is very ancient city, and we can find many important temples and art, everything. Whoever come over here, they would see they can wonderful art and art crafts, but very small country, small city. But although we can see the different of religious aspect also, Hinduism, especially it is focused on Hinduism and Buddhism. They are the temple, art and architecture are based on Hinduism and Buddhism. So more than 10 Muslim also are over here, and the other people are not so much nowadays. There is increasing Christian also, not so much, but especially Hindu and Buddhist are moreover over. In this connection, we can say that Kathmandu is a very historic city, and Nepal is a country of social harmony. The people live each other in different type of different caste and different religious people also live each other. They have a very good relation with each other. So in this place, we can know that they are in a very good situation. There is a land of country, some they face some sort of shortage and everything like that because of the geographical. So in this connection, China, India, and Europe, all the people of China, India, and Europe do come over here, and they have written many books, and they have they like to visit over here. The mountain are the highest mountain of Nepal. Nepal, the highest mountain is Mount Everest, which is located in Nepal. So likewise, the other places also are very beautiful places. Like first of all, Lumini also is very important place where Buddha was born, and the Janakpur or Janaki Mandir is there, where the Sita was born, and the mythological goddess of Hindu, Sita, who was born in Janakpur. So Nepal, in fact, is a very important.
I'm sorry to start. Time is going on. Time is almost 15.
Second line. So, okay. So here are so we have to in fact about museum in Nepal. We are learning about this, and we are this ICOM would help to us, and it will learn about this, and ICOM Nepal also would try to learn more about the museum development. So museum architecture, tangible and intangible, everything, whatever is in Nepal, that is very important, and we have to know about this. And later we will also participate in different programs, and there are many museums in Nepal which would be very to them, which would be very important for the study about the museum. So so in this connection, thank you all for this opportunity to me. So thank you all. Bye.
Thank you very much, Professor. It's a very useful message and useful information about the fact about Nepal. And definitely we have so many multicultural and ethnic group, and so we are going to developing the museum. Definitely we have also COVID-19 also affecting the museums to directly visit. We can't visit the museums, but in Nepal, some museums, National Museum and Pathan Museum is starting the virtual tours with the chances and which learn from the COVID-19. It's very interesting. I'd like to request all the participants and museum lovers, please visit the National Museum's virtual tours and Pathan Museum virtual tours, which is available in the website also. And now, Andrew, I'd like to go to the next session. Next session, which our topic is museum education in Nepal, with a special reference to natural history museums of Nepal. It is a very pioneer museum in Nepal. It's the most of the Professor Dangol is lead the museum education in so many programs. Actually, Professor Dangol is the professor at Tribhuvan University and former chief of the National History Museum, as well as chairperson and senior research scientist, Institute of Social Environment Research, Nepal, Fulbari of Chitwan. As he's the author of so many articles about museum education and another subject which Professor Dangol also is the key person of in the Kirtipur, which is Kathmandu Valley, is the municipality, who is the main advisor of the education to school children as well as most of the students. And now I'd like to, Professor Dangol, please go on to your topic. Floor is on.
Yeah, thank you very much, our ICOM Nepal president, for providing me opportunity to say something about museum education of Nepal, and with a special reference to Natural History Museum, where I work for. 7 years. And before there, I work in the Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science of Tribhuvan University. And now you have got this, many information about me from our ICOM Nepal chair. And now I want to jump directly to my topic because I have to complete my presentation in time. And first of all, once again, welcome to my presentation and salam to all of you. And this is called salam, yeah? Yeah. Not changing. Why? Slide not changing. Yes. Why my slides are not changing? Huh? Suresh, my slides are not changing.
Again, close the. Again, we are going to.
Stop share, yeah? Stop share. Then
Share.
again.
Then
I
again.
think there's a confusion about who is sharing. Dharma sir is sharing or Suresh is sharing?
Yeah, I am sharing.
Dharma sir sharing. Dharma sir.
Is it okay? No, not changing. My slides are not changing. Who can help me?
You can go to the arrow screen, sir, up and down arrow. And
Yes,
then
I am doing that.
Ali, maybe you can run his presentation from your system.
I can try. I can find. And Mr. Dangul, you can use your computer maybe.
Yeah. Well,
your keyboard right and left button
yes,
you can
right
use.
and left not changing.
Not changing. Okay.
Yes.
I'm checking.
Do you have my presentation there?
Yes, of course I have.
Yeah, please help me from there, from Pakistan. It is not changing.
No matter, I can do it for you.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm sharing now. Please, you close and then I'm sharing.
Yeah, I stop. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Now, next slide, please.
Next. Okay.
Yes, my presentation. I will talk about museums in Nepal, museum education. Then after museum education with a special reference to Natural History Museum. Then I want to say something about the way forward. Next slide, please. And yes, the concept of museum that is given by ICOM is very, very important. And the main purpose of museum is about education, study or research, and the enjoyment. And these are the three key points, yeah, in the definition of museum. And next slide. And next slide, please. And in Nepal, there are many museums. Next slide, please. There are many museums. Our vice president also talk about the museums in Nepal and the museum education. Yeah, museum. The main objective of museum education is to engage visitors in learning experiences to enhance their curiosity and the interest in their objects and the collections. And the museum education is the main objective of all the museums of the world. Thank you. Next slide. And now I want to talk about museum education activities done by Natural History Museum. First of all, I want to talk about what is Natural History Museum. Natural History Museum is the museum under Tribhuvan University or academic institution. It was established on July 17, 1975, almost 45 years ago, at the foothills of Swayambhu World Heritage Site. And this museum is the authority for the fauna component of CITES, Nepal. And this museum has a lot of collections, over 55,000 objects related to fauna, objects related to flora and the fossil specimens. And yeah, this museum is conducting different type of activities. Next slide. And the Natural History Museum has a set of lot of objectives. And one of the important objectives related to my presentation is to organize educational and awareness program on natural history collection, Natural History Museum. And it also publishes one journal, and it also publishes books related to Natural History Museum, like this type of book. Next slide. Now I will focus my presentation about educational activities of that museum. And this museum has many visitors, domestic as well as international visitors, especially children love to visit this museum. Next slide, please. And yes, this museum has been contributing to formal education of academic institutions of Nepal, especially biology education, including biological identification, nomenclature, classification, biological illustrations, and museum. It also provides museum techniques like that. Next slide. And this museum also contributing to environmental science education in Nepal, especially to give training about human, plant, animal interaction, plant and animal ecology, adaptation, conservation of habit and habitat. Later on, we are that the museum also organized trainings on rooftop gardening, farmer innovations like that. Next slide. And these are some of the activities of museum education in Natural History Museum. It has conducted mobile exhibition in schools, in other type of festivals. It conducts orientation, guided tour, helps in observation, organizes talk programs, seminars, awareness, advocacy programs, training, workshop, and celebrates special days. And recently, it has a very nice program that is called School Biodiversity Initiative. Next slide, please. Now, I want to give you some of the illustrations. And this is the orientation to school visitors, and each and every school groups get orientation before entering into the museum gallery. Next slide. Next slide. And it has also provided guided tools to VIPs, including EU ambassador, President of Nepal, President and the Education Minister, and including UNESCO ambassador. Next slide. UNESCO, ambassador, country represented to UNESCO Nepal. Next slide. Yeah, guided tour to school children. Next slide. Yeah, not only high school children, but also to the kindergarten children. Guided tours. Next. And this museum also has a botanical garden, and in botanical garden also children get guided tour. They learn from the scientist or the scientist about the plants, plant uses, plant taxonomy, etc. Next slide. Yeah, this is observation in guided garden by the students. Next slide. And we also conducted a lot of talk programs and seminars related to different topic, including, next slide. Yeah, museum education. Yeah, museum education, role of nature history museum, not only in museum education, but also tourism development and promotion. Next slide. And such events provide interaction with the ministers of Nepal government. Next slide. And Nature History Museum also collaborated with the universities of Japan and other countries to conduct regional seminar workshop like that. And this is the example of the collaborative seminar with the Japanese universities. Next slide. And we also provide awareness campaigns, advocacy campaigns, not only to the students, teachers, but also politicians. And here we can see our former Prime Minister, and this is awareness about the museum to the politician. Next slide. Yeah, Nature History Museum have conducted many trainings on different aspects in different times, like training on plant collection and herbarium preparation, and training for understanding climate change, environmental education, etc. Next slide. And Nature History Museum also has conducted a training course on museum education for school science teachers, and this training was attended by principals, principals and science teachers of some of the schools of Kathmandu. Yeah, almost 20 participants were there in this training. Yes, next slide. And we also provide the space of Nature History Museum to conduct workshop related to art. And the next slide. We also conduct training workshop on story writing about nature history. This is the first time museum conducted story writing about the natural history, and we published one story book on Nature History Museum. And this helped us, museum, to bring not only students, not only teachers, not only researchers, but also story writers of Nepal. This is very good initiative, workshop. Next slide. And, we also celebrated different type of national and international days, like International Farmer Innovation Day. Yeah, next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. And we also celebrated, just a moment. We also, back please. And we also celebrated World Disaster Reduction Day. And this was celebrated and attended by our president and education minister. And on that day, President planted a very important plant that is called the Bodhicitta in the periphery of a museum. And this helps us promoting natural history museum with the VIPs of the national arena. Next slide, please. And we have also produced different learning materials like my study on natural history museum, my experiences in the interaction room, and we also train. We also train school scouts on how to guide visitors of natural history museum. Next slide, please. And this is the specimen of educational material we produce. Next slide. This is another educational material for interacting with the specimens. Next slide, please. And here you can see, सक्न लाग्यो. And you can see one small children. She is guiding natural history museum visitors. Next slide. And this is he is the professor from Taiwan. He is providing training on entomology to the zoology students and the teachers. Next slide. And we are able to integrate natural history museum in different curriculum, including school biodiversity initiative. Next slide. And this is school biodiversity initiative. And next slide. This is very, very important one to train high school your students on what is museum, and what is museum specimens, how to prepare museum specimens like that. Next slide. Next slide. And these are the activities we have developed with the student. Next slide. And this is the work we have done, collaborative work on the biodiversity research projects between Natural History Museum and the Creative Academy of the one of the academic school. Next slide. And you can see children are learning how to prepare specimen, plant specimen. Next slide. And the same, drying procedures, learning drying procedures by the students. Next slide. And we got a very nice response to this educational services. Next slide. And this is the response from one of the principal of school, that museum education, they like it very much, and they have suggested us to continue this type of program. Next slide. And this is the activity developed by school about the museum education in their school program, integrated in their school program. Next slide. And this is the impact of museum education. And many visitors in the day where Natural History Museum was able to attract visitors, school children visitors to the museum. This is due to the museum education. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, now the way forward for enhancing Natural History Museum to quality museum education. And the one is training provide. We also need to continue the museum biodiversity initiative. We also need to conduct awareness programs to reach museum as all school, for quality museum education for all schools. And then next slide. And the museum education is for all, not only students, not only for citizens. And the museum education is for all. and they are the VIPs for the museum education. Again, next slide, please. Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm very sorry for taking some minutes more. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. The museum education with a special reference to Natural History Museum. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dango. We have invited the museum education activities in Nepal and special reference of the Natural History Museum in Nepal, which is a pioneer museum for museum education. Right now, we are with the next. Our presentation. Its topic is museum fulfilling a social political causes in Nepal. Its speaker is Ms. Sosti Rajbhandari Kayasta. She is an ICOM executive member, as well as she is a scholar of Nepalese culture, heritage. She served as a lecturer for MA Museology and Buddhist Collection program run by Lumini Buddhist University, which is a pioneer university for the museum education in Nepal. As a curator, she has curated numerous art exhibition in Nepal, India, and Europe also. As a fellow, a passion to write articles topic of Nepali art and culture as well as museology. Yes, Ms. Sosti, floor is gone.
Thank you so much, Suresh, our chairman, and thank you to all the organizing committees. Is my screen being shared?
Yes.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction as well, and I will go straight to my topic, museums fulfilling a socio-political cause in Nepal. Our keynote speaker, Professor Dhanbadur Kuwar, very nicely gave a very brief introduction of Nepal and the various different ethnic communities, almost about 125 different ethnic communities living in this small geographical region, and that is the reason why I pursued this research, and I'm presenting my research to you all today. Even my presentation, okay, is moved forward. Okay, so the keywords in my presentation is community, identity, sociopolitics, awareness, preservation, and cultural heritage. Before I start the main topic of the presentation, I would like to contextualize the topic of how how museums can fulfill a socio-political role in Nepal. For that, I would like to mention that when we look at the demographics of the world, we can notice that there is not a single country nowadays with just a single native population. Countries have concurrent migration for various reasons, and because of that, now the world is referred to as a global village. And because of such situations of constant migration, problems of identity and conflicts result from a backlash against encroachment of identity. So the issue of ethnicity and identity is not only a concern of Nepal, it is a global concern. Therefore, UN adopted for the second consecutive decade, the decade of indigenous people from 2005 to 2015. And even before that, the previous decade was also adopted for the indigenous people. And these issues of identity and visibility, although large in Nepal, is viewed in this research from a museological angle. Since ancient times, as our keynote speaker has already given you a brief introduction, that Nepal has been a conglomerate of numerous states with various ethnic groups. And because we have two very strong nations on our north and towards our south, with very different ethnic communities, because there was waves of migration since ancient times. So Nepal has not a single type of community. We have approximately 100 different communities, ethnic communities speaking 123 different languages. So since the unification of Nepal in the mid-18th century, since that time, before that, it was a conglomerate of various states. After the unification in the mid-18th century, there was absolute control in political authority and monopolization of economic resources. And the Hindu polity system placed the king as the sovereign land of the Lord, and by spiritual power, the protector and guardian of moral order and upholder of traditions. The Hindu religion played a central role in the construction of the state and the identity of the nation, the political system disregarded the socio and cultural pluralism and prescribed a homogeneous monocultural society. So this was also imposed on a single national language. People were not allowed to openly practice their other languages. They could speak their own languages, but when it came to about national or regional ways, also they had to speak the single national language, that is Nepali. Every official document was in Nepali. So, so this led to many cultural and ethnic organizations who sought to preserve their culture and ethnicity in a very low key through various ways. However, the 1990s saw a major political change in Nepal. This resulted in the proclamation of democracy and a major change in ethnic politics of Nepal. The new constitution provided recognition to the pluralistic nature of Nepalese society, together with multiculturalism and multiple linguistic groups. And further, the new constitution, the promulgation of the constitution in 2007 and 2015 made more reforms in national polity with inclusion of the republic and secular status. Before that, we were a monopoly with the state religion being Hinduism. Further, the Republican state and a secular state, this further empowered the minority or ethnic community, allowing for community development through local public participation, making provisions to provide indigenous communities opportunities to live with dignity along with their identity, as well as protect and promote traditional knowledge, skill, culture, and social tradition. And the major outcomes of this was the contest for power of visibility and to be politically powerful to uplift the status of each community socially, economically, as well as in this platform of politics. Such situations created a critical need for the quest of identity and inclusion by every ethnic community that is in Nepal. The concept of inclusion and cultural identity is also a global cultural politics. In UNESCO World Conference in 1982 mentions that the assertion of cultural identity therefore contributes to the liberation of people. Conversely, any form of domination constitutes a denial or an empowerment of that identity. So, stressing the need for cultural identity and cultural independence. So this kind of international conferences and policies created an awareness of competing identity and preserving one's culture, leading to the establishment of a large number of cultural institutions like museums, which serve the much needed visibility of the community in a public forum. So such kind of museums that opened as a result of these conferences and the need for identity politics provided the visibility for the community. It also provided measures and means to preserve the cultural values and information about the skill and technology of the past, share knowledge, and most importantly, connected people with the past and the present. So now coming to my topic, that was just contextualizing the topic. So now coming to actualizing the museum in such a socio-political context. The topic of conceptualizing identity and pronouncing the visibility of different communities in Nepal was through the opening of museums by various ethnic communities. And during the 1990s, Jaral Tufan, who is a renowned scholar of Nepali art and history, he has mentioned that opening ethnic community museums became like a fashion in the 1990s. Whether it was a fashion or whether they opened it for a purpose, but what it did provide was political visibility of the community or ethnic group, highlight the tangible and intangible heritages. It provided a platform for knowledge sharing. It provided a platform for the preservation of culture. And it also served as an outreach opportunity to build information and enhance collection from private houses and organizations. So these museums were came in various forms. They were housed sometimes in single rooms, sometimes in old adapted buildings, and sometimes in newly constructed houses. And they were managed sometimes by a group of volunteers, by the community, by a single family, or sometimes by private individuals as well. So here I have taken a few museums, and in this presentation, my actual research talks about 6 museums, but in this presentation, I will be presenting only 4 museums. And as our keynote speaker in the introduction speech, he did mention that Nepal is divided into 3 regions topographically: the mountain, the hill, and the flat Tarai region. So I have taken sample museums from all these 3 regions. So the first museum that I will talk to you about is the Tharu Cultural Museum and Research Center. This is a museum of the Tharu community, which forms 6.56% of the total population of Nepal, forming the second largest ethnic community. And this region, the Tarai region, the flatlands, is located on the south side of Nepal. It occupies about 15% of the total land mass on the south, from the east to the west of the country. And this is a very fertile region, and the occupation of most of the people here are agriculture and animal husbandry. So this museum, the picture of which I will show you in my next slides, presents a precious collection of objects related to traditional practices in agriculture, farming, fishing, transportation, and customs and traditions of daily life. And the objects, the real objects in the collection is supported by pictographic narratives which complement the display with the real objects, as I mentioned, and it helps us to understand what these real objects were used earlier times and even now through the paintings on the walls. And there are also beautiful dioramas of traditional practices of grinding grains, of fishing, etc. So these kinds of exhibitions, they play a big role in preserving the intangible cultural heritage of the community. And this museum also conducts cultural programs with traditional dance and music, and this helps to preserve their dance and music, and also different kinds of food festivals, traditional food festivals, and different community festivals. They also have a museum shop which supports the local produce, and people can buy it from the museum shop. So the first picture on the left is the exterior of the museum, and you can see the sculpture of a huge snail, which is a snail which, since they are agrarian by profession, a snail becomes a very important part of their traditional lifestyle, as well as in the part of their food habit. And the inside, the picture on the right is one of the displays in the inside. As I mentioned before, there are the real objects which is displayed on the table. And then on the wall, you can see a painting of how these objects were used. And then you can see textual information or narrative of about the object, which is bilingual. So here the picture on the left is a lady in traditional attire and jewelry, and she is holding a water pot, and probably to fetch water from the local river. And this such kinds of dioramas, not only of this one, but also of other cultural activities, are present in the museum. And here again, we see musical instruments displayed on a table in the front, and then on the backdrop, we see paintings of how these musical instruments are used in the past and in the present. So the next museum that I'm talking to you about is the Gurung Museum. It is also called the Tamo Museum, and it is considered to be one of the oldest community museums. And it belongs to the community of the Gurungs, who make about 2.97% of the total population of Nepal, and they live in the mountains and high hills. And this museum is very strategically located in the trekking trail, one of the most famous trekking trails of the world, the Annapurna Base Camp, on the route to the Annapurna Base Camp. And therefore, it invites a lot of domestic as well as international tourists. The occupation of these people also being animal husbandry and agriculture. The major part of the collection are objects comprising of agricultural equipments, kitchen utensils, household items, beekeeping logs, animal horns, etc. And a traditional model animal shelter outside also provides us an idea about the close connection of the community with nature and animals. So weaving, because they live in very isolated areas in the high hills of Nepal, they self-sufficiency was very important to them. So weaving is a very traditional practice of this community, and there is a diorama of a female mannequin sitting by as if weaving. And visitors are allowed to dress in the traditional attires and take photographs of the with the natural picturesque backdrop, or of the museum, or of the mountains, very scenic mountain views that you can get from the place where this museum is located. And this helps to preserve the traditional practices and preserve identity and distinct cultures of the community. So here is on the left is a picture of the museum in an adopted building, a very traditional adopted building. It says Old Gurung Museum, and this is in Khandruk. And here you can see in the foreground 4 visitors who are dressed traditionally in the Gurung attire. They are taking pictures of themselves in the local attire. You can even take off. There are lots of people who post selfies in these Gurung attires. Not only the attire, but jewelry and the weapons as well that the Gurung community hold with them in their day-to-day basis. You can take pictures with the mountain backdrop also. And on the right, you have the museum as it is presented there. It is a collection of all kinds of objects related to the household and animal husbandry and agriculture. The third museum that I'm talking about is Sasa, the Ethnic Community Museum. This museum is located in Patan and in Kathmandu Valley, and that is the central region of Nepal. And this museum aims to cover all the 125 different ethnic communities of Nepal, however, highlighting the Newar community, who are the indigenous community of the Kathmandu Valley. And they form about 4.99% of the total population of Nepal. And this museum was purposely built in a very traditionally styled Newar architecture building. And the collection of the museum comprises of objects related to art, farming, weaving, pottery, music, vocational instruments, and very neatly labeled, as well as there is a display with of the 16 different sacraments of life, just 16 different rituals. And there are dioramas also of Newar community festivals, and you can see it in the next slide. And this kind of museum also holds different kinds of cultural activities, which is mobilized by volunteers and festivals and cultural events. So this is the exterior of the building, and you can see it built in very traditional Newar local architecture. And then on the right is a diorama of one of the traditions. And this is another picture of the museum with agriculture as as the main occupation of the community who owns the building and the museum, and then the display of objects on the right-hand side. The last museum that I'm talking to you about is the Museum of Nepali Art. This is not a community museum, but a privately owned museum, and not an ethnographic museum as well as described in the others, but it is a museum showcasing contemporary art of Nepal. It was established with a broader concern of national identity and pride. So the owner of the museum, the director of the museum, he feels that the rich tradition of art of the country, which is a legacy carried from beyond the 5th century, has not received enough coverage in the recent times. So because in all the international big museums that you see all over the world, there is whether a gallery or a small collection of Nepali art, but Nepali art is seen in all big museums of the world because of our very rich artistic tradition. But however, now this artistic tradition continues, yet it is not given enough promotion. So he feels that this museum will be able to document as well as provide research and provide a continuation to these century-old legacies. So traditional paintings of Nepal, as mentioned, they are everywhere in the world. So through my presentation, what I want to show is that museums are not neutral spaces. They are entangled in the web of identity politics. And this is a picture of the museum. You can see people visiting the museum on the left as well as on the right. So in conclusion, what I would like to state that is that inclusiveness and multiculturalism at the national level to be implemented, museums help for inclusiveness and multiculturalism at the national level to be implemented. They are open, such kinds of museums are open for special causes to mobilize the community, engender a sense of identity, pride and belonging, as well as conserve and the tradition and culture of a community. They also serve as bridges, making connections between the past and the present, and as well as educating and informing visitors about the community and their heritage. And in the long run, they help to strengthen Nepal's community's heritage for a political cause in the new ethno-political and socio-political landscape of Nepal. And thus museums highlight, this kind of museums highlight the cultural pluralism of Nepal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sustaji. Thank you very much for all presenter from Nepal. I'm sorry I have to 10 minutes more. Thank you very much, everyone who's actively participating and supporting us. And once again, I have to thanks to ICOM Pakistan, ICOM Turkey, and who are the excellent work in all the technical teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you very much. If any more question is in our last session,
Yes.
is okay? Okay.
I believe we should move towards the Sri Lankan session, and we can take the questions at the end of that session.
I think time is already gone, so we have to take last session.
We present 5 minutes before the passing the Sri Lanka session for question and reply, please.
Yes, most welcome to.
Yeah, please. Okay. Is there any question? Ask the speakers, please, for 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, ICOM Nepal is very happy to question and answer about the museum status in Nepal.
Is there any question? Okay, we can pass.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone from Nepal. We really enjoyed your, those were very engaging presentations. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we can pass on the floor to Sri Lankan colleagues now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. From Nepal and Pakistan ICOM and Sri Lanka ICOM. I'm not going to talk too much because the time is not enough for us. So I'm Lankani Somaratne from Department of National Museums in Sri Lanka. I wish a very warm welcome to you and a heartily congratulate to be a part of this International Virtual Conference on Museums 2021. So first of all, on behalf of our team, I apologize for wearing face mask since we are on our official duties today and we all are in same conference hall. Let's go to the session. The future of museums, recover and reimagine International Museum Day 2021 invites museums, museum professionals, and all-around communities to create, image, and share new practices, values, innovative perspectives for the social, economic, and environmental challenges of the present. So, therefore, here we are. First of all, I would like to cordially invite Mrs. Sanuja Kasturiarachi, Director General of Department of National Museums in Sri Lanka, for the first live presentation.
Hello, good afternoon, dear colleagues of ICOM-Pakistan, ICOM-Nepal, ICOM-Turkey, and my dear staff members of Colombo National Museum. I am Sanuja Kasturiarachi, Director General of the Department of National Museums, Sri Lanka. I apologize for wearing face mask, as Lankani said, we are in office today. As we all know, we are having a very difficult and sorrowful time. We are losing our relations, friends, and neighbors. We see the dreaded shadow of death, but we are also bound to fulfill our day-to-day duties. It is no longer possible to function as freely as we did before. There are ban restrictions on travel and personal contacts. In this context, we must appreciate this effort of Pakistan ICOM committee. My colleague, Mr. Javed Akhtar, my old friend, your interest deserves special mention and gratitude here. Thanks to ICOM and KUMID Turkey, the other participating organizations. Representing Sri Lanka as the Department of National Museums, my colleagues and I participate for this seminar. The Colombo National Museum was established in 1877. The initial collection consisted of antiquities and zoological specimens. The museum library, with a collection of books donated by the Royal Asiatic Society, was also opened at the same time. The Department of National Museums was established by the Museum Ordinance of 1942. Now, our institution, the Department of National Museum, is approaching 150 years. There are 5 main subject divisions in the department: Ethnology Division, Anthropology Division, Zoology Division, Botany Division, and Entomology Division. In addition, there is a conservatory lab. At present, 11 museums are managed under the Department of National Museums. You can see some photographs while I am speaking. Across the world, museums have been closed due to the impact of COVID-19. The museums under my department also closed and out of bounds. No more visitors inside the museums. The visitors have been confined to their homes. With visitors, we have lost our main source of income. It seems futile for museums to remain closed buildings. Therefore, it is time to reimagine museums for the future. We have to learn quickly how to operate remotely and to remain relevant and visible with these closed buildings. So we have to take quick decisions to redefining the role of museums. We need to find ways to bring a museum closer to community. The COVID-19 has dramatically altered the world. We, staff and public both, will need to recover, reconnect, repair and heal. The Department of National Museum is rethinking its role. Several new projects have been identified for this purpose. One of them is the provision of museum services to the public through the internet. We are in the process of setting up a new website for that. Then we will try to make museum exhibitions more democratic in the future. We try to get more people involved in setting up exhibitions and research. And we will try to set up exhibitions that feel more important issues to the community. We will try to be a platform for the discussion of social issues to foster transparency and reconciliation. But we face the challenge of working so as to ensure the health and safety of the staff and visitors both. I wish you all a healthy life and thank you ICOM-Pakistan again for organizing this online seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Secondly, I am honored to invite you, Mr. Ranjit Thevage, the Museum Keeper of Colombo National Museum, to speak the future of cultural museums in Sri Lanka.
So very good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the inconvenience of some technological problem. So Chairman, Ma'am of this session, Mrs. Anuja Kasturiarachi, Chairperson to the ICOM Sri Lanka, and the Director General of the Department of National Museum Sri Lanka, and the moderator, Mrs. Lankani Somaratna, Zoologist, Department of National Museum Sri Lanka, and Dr. Manori Gunatilaka, entomologist, at the present, not present here, unfortunately, and Mr. Sendat, my colleague, Director Cultural, and all other country experts on this occasion. I'm Ranjit, Museum Superintendent to the Colombo National Museum. I think it is a very important opportunity to all of us as museum professionals to share our recent experience regarding the museum. I think this decade may landmark point to all of us as South Asian countries museum professionals. Now all South Asian countries go some level with their economic progress. So simultaneously, we also should pay our attention to restructuring our museum based on the community and give some benefit for them. I would like to, before starting our discussion, so give this some brief introduction regarding the museum in Sri Lankan museum structure. You can see the #1 national museums. Department of National Museums established in 1877 as mentioned, the director, chairman, ma'am. Number two, type of the archaeological site museums established in 1890, our under the Department of Archaeology. Then third category is archaeological sites museum established on Central Cultural Fund 1980s under UNESCO project. Number four is the other government department museum based on subjects, various subjects. And the number fifth is university museums. And the number six is museums of religious institutions. And the number seven is private museum. So nearly, I think, overall 100 museums in Sri Lanka is a major point of the museum in Sri Lanka. Anyway, as the pilot agency is the National Museums in Sri Lanka is the Colombo National Museum. So Colombo National Museum established in 1877. It is open to the general public 1877, but it is commenced on 1873. Construction works commenced at that time. Here is our building history and our founder and the architects and contractors like that. And this is our department structure is like 11 museums and 6 scientific sections. It is one of the major library in Asia in subordinate sections also. So Colombo National Museum is a pilot agency of cultural museums in Sri Lanka. I think Sri Lankan Modern Museum was commenced under the British colonial period, as I said you earlier. So through that museum, National Museum Colombo is the oldest and largest museum in Sri Lanka. So it means National Museum Colombo is the pilot agency power authority of the official level in Sri Lanka. So I would like to very brief and very fast introduction regarding our museum. So you can see the environment of our museum current situation and the location of the very popularized and commercialized city in Colombo. So
Museum, a historic, iconic building, stands at the heart of the commercial capital, Colombo. It is a great place to learn about Sri Lankan heritage, culture, and history. Visitors first come to the entrance hall. They will then view the Toluvila Samadhi statue, which shows the greatness of Sri Lankan sculpture tradition in the ancient period. Gallery number 1 consists of pre- and proto-historic artifacts that belong to a period of 250,000 years before till 1,000 years BC. Gallery number 2 exhibits the artifacts of the Anuradhapura period. This gallery is divided into 3 parts. The Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva statue, which was found in the Veeragala Sirisangapur historic temple. This is one of 5 world-famous historical masterpieces declared by UNESCO. The third gallery consists of a unique collection of artifacts. The influence of Hinduism was a principal aspect of the Polonnaruwa kingdom. Therefore, archaeological excavations have found a number of Hindu religious artifacts. The bronze god Shiva statue, goddess Parvati statue, and many other Hindu statues are exhibited in the Polonnaruwa gallery. Transit period. This gallery displays the historic artifacts of the transition period of Sri Lankan history. One of the special aspects of this gallery is the Chinese stone inscription that was invented by the Chinese navigator Zheng. Exhibits the collection
Sorry, sir, its sound is very low. Please check it.
Okay, okay. So sorry, it is the volume is a high level.
Gallery number 7 deals with the ancient paintings from cave era to present Bali paintings. These paintings are copies of the original paintings that belong to a number of ancient temples and historical places.
Thank you. It's okay now.
It's the traditional costumes of Sri Lanka's different ethnic groups. The ceramic gallery consists of 3 main divisions as local ceramics, foreign ceramics, and glass artifacts. This is the coins and currency gallery that displays golden, silver, and bronze coins, which were used from pre-Christian era to 15th century AD. Gallery 11, flags and banners. The National Museum is in possession of a fairly large collection of 18th century flags and banners of various officials, castes, and regions of this country. The gallery number 12 consists of a large number of arts and crafts, which displays the ivory crafts, jewelry, wooden crafts, turtle shell craft, and metallic products which belong to the 18th century. Gallery 13, weapons. The Arms and Armaments Gallery contains a very interesting collection of traditional arms. These include traditional weapons such as bows and arrows, spears and shield, and swords that belong to the Anuradhapura, Polonnaru and Kandyan period. Gallery number 14, traditional rituals. This gallery is the place where visitors can be immersed in the traditional rituals that existed in villages of Sri Lanka. Gallery number 15 is proposed for the historical furniture collection and is planned to be open for the public in the future. Gallery number 16, traditional agriculture. Visitors of the National Museum are aware about the traditional agriculture of Sri Lanka in this gallery. The numerous tools which were used for henna cultivation and paddy agriculture are displayed in this gallery. The National Museum, a historic, iconic building, stands at
Right. Here is just a picture of the Colombo museums inside the photograph. Something I would like to very speedily. I will just display for you, and also here is the painting and the textile and the ceramic and coins and currency and the flag. This is the art and craft, and 13 is arms and armaments, and the traditional rituals, and the last gallery is the agriculture. So the Colombo National Museum is normally organized on the many program to community participations. And like here is you can see some university and higher students participation program after finishing and completion of their occasions. And here is the very special program to the one of the major person who very popular in Sri Lanka, traditional food chefs in Sri Lanka. I think a very popular man, Mr. Silva, and Mrs. Silva also, same sector of traditional food sectors, icon like ICON in Sri Lanka. So they handed over to some very traditional objects related to the traditional food system. Here is the food stool also handed over to the Director General to the museum, Mrs. Anuja. And here is the one of the very vast school program in Natural History Museum in Colombo. Same premises in the Colombo National Museum. So it is participated in every ethnic groups and religious groups represent on this school painting program in open doors painting program in conducted by the Department of National Museums. And this is also one of the classroom, in museums classroom lecture, you can see. So I think many programs we conduct on many communities and many ethnic groups and many religious groups and other special group for the Department of National Museum. So I think equal opportunity for all representations for all communities, because I think in Sri Lanka, you know, as a multicultural in Sinhala and the Tamil and the Muslims and the Burgher, Dutch Burgher and the Malay also, and also not only that Vedda community, and I think another person who need to special need persons and other special elders. We target on all type of the communities and groups to give some chances to equal opportunities in by the Colombo National Museum. So on this occasion, I think we have do many things for in this decade, because after finishing of the COVID-19, we have to give some increasing and some rapidly program, rapidly program to conduct by the Department of National Museum. Especially, I think dialogue is a very important with all ethnic groups and communities. Especially, I think we need to represent from our collections to humanism and equality and natural values and cultural values also. I think these very important 4 points need to base on the reimagine and restructuring of our museum exhibition and our museum research and our museum program, education program, or any other type of program which we are delivered by the Department of National Museum. So, and the restructuring of the museum exhibition, actually it is not target on the museum exhibition in future. It is mentioned on, I think, as previous said, museum exhibition or display galleries, and also museum education programs and seminars. We need to dialogue to open any type of any kind of subjects, not without any restrictions, to give their ideas and comments to freely in any community or any groups to the society. So I think after that we can restructuring or reimagine of our museum exhibition under the some comments or some very important idea from various groups from Sri Lankan society. So I think it is a very important thing to do in future changes in Sri Lankan museums. And also one part is also community contribution for museum, and museum also hope to give us some opportunity to contribution, give us to any other community in Sri Lanka. I think next speaker, Mrs. Senarath Wickramasinghe, also will explain to you how we are doing any other many other communities with work and give some contribution for their by the museums. So I think my presentation is over. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk with you, and thank you so much for patience with my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranjit Thevage. Let's move on to next presentation. It was meant to be done by the Dr. Manori Gunathilaka. Unfortunately, she is not here. So on behalf of her, I will be doing it. Therefore, I am going to grab your attention for the next topic, the future of natural history museums in Sri Lanka. So I have chosen to speak about the future of natural history museums in Sri Lanka, recover and reimagine. Historically, the purpose of the natural history museums was to collect.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Please make it full screen your presentation. Thank you. Great. No, not yet.
Now is it okay?
It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Historically, the purpose of the natural history museums was to collect specimens from nature to develop encyclopedic assemblages to satisfy human curiosity and build a basis for taxonomy information. When it comes to the present, it provides scientific community with current and historical natural specimens for research. And then it improves public awareness regarding the natural world. Exhibitions in the natural history museums share the beauty and the wonder of the natural world. Let's have a look at history of the natural history museums in world and Sri Lanka. As many of you know, in mid-16th century, the first most natural history museum was established in Zurich, in Switzerland, then in Paris. When it comes to mid-18th century, with the increased interest in the scientific world, they began to establish natural history museums and zoological gardens. As a result, Natural History Museum in London and Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History were established. In Sri Lanka, the National Museum of Natural History operates under the Department of National Museums. The firstmost museum was established in 1877 as the Colombo National Museum. At the beginning, there were around 3,500 of natural specimens along with the cultural artifacts. Then, with the increasing of natural collection, the separate Natural History Museum was established on 23rd September in 1986. So, our Natural History Museum consists of 11 galleries with a mammal gallery, osteology gallery, 2 birds galleries, and newly refurbished geology gallery, botany gallery, and entomology gallery. Further, we have science and technology gallery and biodiversity gallery. So we are refurbing some of these galleries in coming years. Then I would like to grab your attention to the future of natural history museums in Sri Lanka. Natural history museums are changing due to their own internal development and in response to changes in context. As Eric Dorfman says about natural history museums, not the old-fashioned, infamously dusty halls of dreary objects, but a new breed of institution, one that exists in the future, responsible and responsive to its community, employing newly developed methods to unreveal the mysteries of the world and weave them into engaging stories for eager and engaged public. So the challenges faced by natural history museums depend on the challenges of environmental changes, and some are born within the same sector. Now we are going to see the future of natural history museums in Sri Lanka as emerging to its appropriate position as a science center. Sri Lanka is mostly a cultural and archaeological based country. It's a social community, is rich with ancient cultural and archaeological evidences. Natural history is not much interested or not familiar with the public. Natural history museums are in need of greater support within the cultural sector. Sri Lanka is a small island with 65,000 square kilometers and is a biodiversity hotspot. Science divisions in Department of National Museums contain nearly 250,000 specimens in these divisions. Museums are less engaging in research with compared to the non-governmental research organizations. So we need to increase the researchers in those divisions. Natural History Museum should act as a leading science center in this small country to the public, to the school children, to the universities and other governmental organizations. Let's take a look at the natural history museums as nature conservation centers. Natural history museums have critical role in biodiversity conservation. They are one of the key social actors on public policy implementation regarding environmental management and conservation. So that's why we need to collaborate with the wildlife department, zoological gardens, and forest departments. Museums should engage into discussions regarding global environmental changes and their consequences. Since natural history museum professionals should discuss about global environmental change, climate changes, pollution, overexploitation, habitat destruction, and invasive species. So most of the people do not know what is going inside the museums. That's why we need to act as an intermediary to the public. So it is our duty to act as an intermediary between local communities and the state and the international community, as the center that shows the importance of the museum-public partnership. So the transparency of museum and museum practices are very important. It is some kind of socializing museum practices. As a place of intermediary, it should discuss about the ethnic communities in Sri Lanka, Sinhala, Hindu, Muslims, Burghers, Malay, and indigenous people, social and religious aspects. As it says, all communities are achievable in national museums. Because museums with natural heritage collections are ideally placed to help reforge or reconstruct links between people and nature, to support the necessary transition to futures that are less exploitative of the natural environment. Future of natural history museums in Sri Lanka, visitor experience and democratizing museums are another aspect. In future, the social values of museums will increase not because they will have more prestige, but rather because they will meaningfully and truly include, integrate, and unite communities who will find themselves reflected, identified, and considered as a vital part of the experience itself. Museums will not wait for visitors to be interested in their displays and exhibitions. They will actively take the museums to the possible visitor, and they will be interconnected with other institutions such as schools, universities, hospitals, and government organizations and non-government organizations. And museums should be profitable organizations. As we know, the museums are non-profit organizations by its definition. It is no longer perceived as an instrument of the state or as ordinary non-profit organization. It should be profitable to society, economy, and environment, not in financial aspects. And museums should engage with the concepts of sustainable museums. So we have come to the end of my lecture. Then I would like to invite to the Mr. Senarath Wickramasinghe, the Director, Culture of Department of National Museums. The department is the custodian of 11 national museums in Sri Lanka, and our newly established ancient technology museum is a landmark of the museum history. So now, Mr. Senarath Wickramasinghe, now the screen is yours.
Good evening. Thank you. Now I am talking with the newly established by the Department of National Museum, Ancient Technology Museum. First of all, I would like to give some introductions. Museum are still not just a showroom. Now they were being organized as an institution dedicated to serving the people, developing their education, study, the research needs, protecting their heritage, adapting to the need of the new society, and the need of the people are some of the major challenges facing museum professionals in the 21st century. 99 of the existing museums in Sri Lanka and South Asian country have organized exhibitions representing the field of the cultural objects. Many of these exhibitions are often organized with common framework. They are exhibitions organized with common framework. Some important criteria at attention for the museum professional organizing museum exhibition. To identify the need, aspirators, attitudes, and concepts of the people. It is very important thing to organize museum exhibition in a modern way, and this also very important to preserve the museum tradition that have been maintained so far. These three are very important things regarding the museum exhibition. To get rid of it, museum lighting system, the technology, knowledge, culture, and tradition associated with it should be more comprehensible to the visitors. Innovative equipment should be used. Replica objects or their associated activities should be integrated. Proper information for objects. Related activities getting experience to visitors are some special points regarding the exhibition. Now, the Department of National Museum established a new museum in 2017, Polonnaruwa. It's called Ancient Technology Museum. The mission of this museum is collecting museum objects, specimens, and their models relating to the ancient technology of Sri Lanka during prehistoric era to 18th century. Documentation, conservation, them for future generation, presenting them to the general public through exhibition for study, education, engage research, and entertainment purpose of the society. Maintain a library to accomplish above objectives. Goals and objectives of this museum: identification of ancient technology, knowledge and its usage and stand of Sri Lankan people in the past. Conserve ancient technology heritage of Sri Lanka and related knowledge and inherit them to the posterity. Presenting the technological heritage to modern and future generation for them to study and research, and directing them for future research. A function as research and education center for ancient technology heritage of Sri Lanka. Other maintain a full fledged full library to uplift the level of knowledge for the benefit of researchers, university and school communities, and general public. Transmit to the world the ages all technical knowledge and concept of ancient inhabitant of Sri Lanka. Promote the local and overseas tourism industry. Those are the main goals and objectives of this museum. We propose below technological events. Pre and photos is historic technology, metal technology, pottery technology, agriculture, architecture technology like stupa technology, Sigiriya world famous World Heritage Site in Sri Lanka, sanitary technology, building construction technology, building architects technology, wood technology like that. Sculpture technology, murals technology, paintings, transport and road technology, weaving and garment technology, naval technology, mineralogical technology, and mathematics technology. Those are the main technological features exhibiting in this museum. And this is a ground pan. Now, I would like to show you work through video of Ancient Technology Museum Sri Lanka. Please see this video. This is building, museum building. On new building, the first gallery, we organized the first gallery according to the history of any technology established after the Galvin period is very the various type of into sculpture, other is found from so prehistoric technology with models, but we are trying to present prehistoric technology with some modules created. They can understand very well prototype technology, barriers, some potteries below pottery, some potteries found from the pottery barriers. Very important iron technology. There are two types of iron furnaces found from Sri Lanka. The made by the wings, natural wings. Pottery with models and pottery firing technology. Some pots and it's architectural technology, various type of architectural domes, arches, some image house. The Jayatoni Stupa, world largest stupa in the world, which is in Sri Lanka, this is from Shiva temple. This is a pond, technology of the pond, world ponds, top of the stone bridge made by painting technology and wooden technology, wooden structure technology and sculptural technology are very important. Sri Lanka. Some instrument used for the we have long novel history, and this is GEBS tribes and Cannon tribes in Sri Lanka. Textile technology. This is ancient weaving machines. I think this is not only Sri Lanka, but also in Nepal, Pakistan, India. They used ancient type of machine. Some mathematical technology. This museum lobby. This is our library in ancient technology library. We have a great library, modern library. People can conference hall. All the special things of this museum. We established activity area. School children, people can doing some activities regarding the various type of technology. You can see some students engaging pottery making experience. School children engage ancient wooden joint experience. Ancient writing experience. How to make prehistoric tool. People's as well as school children can get various type of experience in this activity area. People, school children very like this area. You can see some painting experience and interactive board. Visitor could write color some painting. It's a board showing various type of painting traditions. And other very important innovation center. People new experience given to the museum visitors regarding the technologies using VR, virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, and LiDAR. I think the first time Sri Lankan Museum established this type of exhibition. Visitor can see ancient technology and new technology in under the one umbrella. That is a very important thing of this museum. You can see augmented reality, some videos, LiDAR technology. This is the main point. People, visitors can learn our ancient technology with new technology, and they can engage activities regarding various types of technology. They can read and they can read some books from the library, lecture halls, and souvenir shops. All the things are included of museum. I think in Sri Lanka we can go. We can keep some steps to new exhibitions to the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Senarath Wickramasinghe. That brings us to the end of the all presentations in Sri Lanka session. The Department of National Museums carries its great vision of providing a significant museum service to the public with knowledge and inspiration. So we hope we could succeed our goals near future with our all professionals. And our special thanks goes to ICOM Pakistan and KUMID Turkey for giving us this great opportunity. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Our friends, our speakers from Sri Lanka, ICOM Sri Lanka, thank you very much for your important presentation and virtual tours. We can collect the question and answer if you like in few minutes, for example, 5 minutes. Do you have any question? Do you have any question, dear participants, speakers, to present about the presentation? Okay. Before giving the floor to Professor Dr. Ruxana David and pioneer of the conference, Mohamed Akhtar Javed, Master of Masters, I call him, for the closing and thanks vote of the session, maybe Associate Professor Dr. Ali Akın Akyol, head of the technical team of this conference. He is also a member of ICOM Turkey and our association KIO-MID commit. And he is also academic in Ankara Hacı Bayram University, Faculty of Fine Arts, Department of the Conservation, Restoration of the Cultural Properties. I think has got few words to share with you before the Madam Ruxana David and Mohamed Akhtar Javed. Okay. Take your chair, please.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Good afternoon. So, I think that both sessions went very well, and there was excellent presentations. Those presentations were very new for me. So I'm quite happy and congratulate Mr. Suresh Lakhi and congratulate the Sanuja. She is a very active, in Nepal and Sri Lanka on museum business, and she is also Director General of National Museums. So also President of ICOM Sri Lanka. So I'm thankful to her and thankful to Suresh that both sessions were very good. And the need is there that we can, at least we South Asian countries, should frequently arrange such things so that we could become a familiar, our speakers could become a familiar with each other, and their presentation will also have improvisations and new things will add in that, so that one could know that what is going on this part of world. So anyway, it was all excellent, and thank you very much indeed. If anything, anyone else ask or say, please, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Javed, for your effort to organize this online seminar.
Sanuja, how are you?
How are you?
This was the only way to meet you again. You see? So that's why I have arranged it. And it is arranged especially for you to Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is not so coming advanced in this relationship with other museums and other ICOMs. And I think we can have again some frequent joint ventures together, so that things in world only improve when they are in exercise. So if there is no exercise, then things will not improve. So definitely, I love your country, I love you, and I love your people, and definitely Pakistan and Sri Lanka enjoys a good relationship. Although we are very good in making relation with all in South Asia, so but especially with the Sri Lanka and Nepal, we have a very good relationship. Bangladesh also very close to our heart. So India is definitely our border and our border friend. So we love to develop a friendship, more strengthen the friendship with India. So, but definitely, you are very important for us. You are very important. You are our regional friends. So we would like you people to meet us frequently on Zoom. So, how you think this conference can benefit our people, and not in the region, but also out of the region too, if we frequently arrange these kind of activities?
Yes, actually, it is a good opportunity to share our ideas, and we warmly welcome if you have an idea to come to Sri Lanka and someday to see our museums. You all are warmly welcome to Colombo National Museum and the other branch museums.
Yeah.
Then, thank you
Thank
for
you.
organizing
Thank you.
this again, Mr. Javed.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else can speak on anything, wants to speak or tell something?
Yes.
All speakers were very good.
Yeah. Can we organize exchange pages between Pakistan ICOM, India ICOM, Sri Lanka ICOM, Nepal ICOM?
Yeah.
Can we make this dream true?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Because this is a beginning, in fact, right?
Yeah.
Before that, you and me never met in life. Yes.
Never.
So we are meeting and we are talking to each other. We are looking at our pictures, and this world is coming very close. It's a global village with the help of technology. So epidemic disease is not affecting us more because you don't have a mask, I don't have a mask. So we are talking to each other and looking at our faces. So this is quite normal. We are moving forward in the epidemic disease. So definitely, ICOM India, that is, they are in an election process. We are also in election process, but they are also in an election process. So whosoever will be in ICOM Pakistan or ICOM India, so we will together, definitely. We are professionals. We are technology. We don't have to do anything with political things. So yeah. So we will have a professional links with each other, and we enjoy because Amar Sawar Gala from India, he is the keynote speaker in Pakistan session. You will hear him tomorrow if you join. So this is yesterday there was an Indian session. You see. So
I see.
yeah. So we are open. We are open. We are professional. So we must develop our professional relationship with each other.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I request our ICOM Nepal president to make some work plan to visit Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India.
Suresh has become to say Robin Hood of this group 101. So he is also the group leader too. So definitely, he's a very nice person. As far as I know, since last 2-3 months or 4 months. So before that, you have Bajaya, I think Bajaya. Yeah. Before that. Yeah. Is he here? Yes, he was here.
A few minutes before.
We love the Vijay Sai and
so yeah, we have a relationship. We are very frank, and we are also on Facebook. So my Facebook is open to all. So please join me. No problem at all. We can have we have opened these groups in Messenger, and also there is one ICOM family forum in Messenger. So you can join that Messenger forum, ICOM Family Forum,
Yeah, sure.
and we can exchange our say professional things, knowledge, and new innovations and development on that say ICOM Family Forum, on that forum. So please be frank and do not hesitate to make friends, right? So make friend each other. So there is no harm in it, that we will be together and we can anytime touch to each other. So that would be very nice. Sanuja, have you opened your Facebook account? Is she there?
Sir, Sri Lanka has left the meeting.
Yeah.
The time is already over.
Yeah, time is over. So enjoy and excellent. Thank you very much indeed for this.
Yeah, love to see again and
cooperation.
again.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Just
Bye-bye.
a moment, please.
Thank
please,
you, everyone.
Please,
See
just
you
a
all
moment.
tomorrow morning, tomorrow
Please,
afternoon.
just a moment.
Thank
Wait,
you.
please.
Thank you.
Please wait for 1 minute, please. Ali Akınakyol is your floor. Put the tomorrow poster.
Okay.
Tomorrow program poster.
I want to say something about today's meeting. Today we listened to a great presentations of the museum and the museum education, museology, practices and experiences from Nepal and Sri Lanka museums, as well as the virtual tours of the museum. Thanks to all the speakers for their valuable and informative presentations. I want to share it. I would also thank ICOM Nepal and ICOM Sri Lanka for their participation and organization of ICOM 2021. I have a note. It's very good, I think. Maybe the summary of today's. Mohammed Mahbubul Alam said that we are enjoying presentations without knowing them by face. It's very good. I think I like this note. Thank you so much for your participation, he said. Thank you for all. I want to share tomorrow's poster. You see on the poster. We'll be very happy to see you tomorrow's last session. Thank you so much for all participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ali.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you tomorrow, please.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.